The show where the writer is fresh off the presses and the ink is not dry. In fact, it is still wet for this week's show, replacements and jumping at chances this off-season. Relax, the keyboard is off, the press box is closed, and the mic is just getting warmed up as the guardian of the blue paint turned writer is about to enlighten us. Welcome to the Hockey Writers Inc. Join Lance and Steel as we bring you all the latest on the Flyers. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Hockey Writers Inc. Your host,
Lance Green.
and I'm your co-host, SteelFlyers, and boy, oh boy, have we got a special one for you this week. That's right, episode number 32, coming right at you. Replacements and jumping to chances this off-season. How you doing, Lance?
I'm all right. How about yourself?
Oh man, I'm doing. I'm excited. It's all kind of great stuff going on here, especially in hockey land, and not to mention there's a lot of cool stuff going on in Flyer land as well too. So we're gonna get right into it here, man. The very first article that we're gonna talk about that the great and wonderful writer extraordinaire Lance Green just posted to FlyersNittyGritty.com just the other day, and why the Flyers should be jumping at the chance to acquire the latest player to one out of Columbus. And of course, you must be speaking of Seth Jones. I mean,
I am. I am.
who's been all the rage as of late due to him wanting out of Ohio. I mean, everybody's been ever since he came out and said, hey, I don't want to play here no more, you know. And you mentioned that the 6'4", 213-pound right hand defenseman could be just that player that Chuck should be giving a call to.
Sure. Yes. He is a four-time All-Star. Let's not forget that. He is only 26 years of age. A lot of other guys that are out there in free agency are heading towards 30. And this guy has potentially another 8, 9, 10 years to play in the NHL, if you will. So this is a little different than somebody that's, maybe a little long in the tooth. This guy is still in his prime. Um, and who can blame him to want out of Columbus? I mean, how many people over the past years have left star wise? Panarin, Matt Duchene, Sergei Bobrovsky, Pierre-Luc Dubois,
Yeah, yeah.
tons and tons of guys. And then if they didn't leave or didn't ask to be traded, you had the GM, as soon as he finds out that they may want to test free agency or something, he's trading them. Nick Foligno, David Savard this year, Ryan Murray before, Josh Anderson,
Yeah.
Anthony Duclair, like stars just want out of there. And, he's perpetually keeping this team in a state of rebuilding. And that is a problem. And I can see that, Seth Jones gave his time there over the past couple of years and has nothing to show for it. And why this guy is also so exciting is because the Flyers need a right-hand shot defenseman to pair with Provorov. And just so happens that this kid plays 25 plus minutes a night.
What do you know? And
Right.
he's a right hand shot defenseman. I mean,
And he's
yeah. With the exodus from Columbus now, including the coach. You know what I
yes,
mean?
which was part of the problem, I think, there.
You're not going to hear any arguments from me on that one. Okay, you're really not. Um, Look, I'm not trying to take anything away from anybody that's able to coach as long as this coach has been able to coach for, especially American born and all that. And props to you. You did win a Stanley Cup, and that's cool and all that. But I am not a fan of this particular coach, and I'm not. He can do his thing, and that's all fine and great. And I can sit back and be the analyst and say, yeah, I don't agree with how you do things, and That's just how it's going to have to be at that. You know what I mean?
Yep. I think he's an effective coach for a different era. There's plenty of guys that I would like to play under him in my sense when I was playing, because if I was messing up and he came to me and got in my ear, I would go out there and want to prove him wrong and play my butt off and then go right in his face and how'd you like that,
Yeah.
to show him. But that's not how today's kids are. They're not. They don't
Yeah.
play that same style. Their feelings get hurt way too
Yeah.
easily, and
Yeah.
that's it's not effective
I'm
anymore
with
with
you.
this type.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Look, it's unfortunate, but look, you gotta have a bit of a tougher skin here, and you kind of have to, some things you just have to take with a little bit of grain of salt and realize that that's just life, and there's nothing you can do about it, and it's unfortunate and everything, and we've all been there, we've all had to take those lumps. You know what I'm saying? And so it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. It's really not. Okay, now look, if I was say if I was a betting man, which good gravy, I'm not. I mean, thank the Lord I'm not. But what would the Flyers have to sacrifice for the likes of somebody like Seth Jones? I mean, look, we have coveted somebody of this caliber, of this nature, since Niskanen's left, retired, whatever you want to call it, and all of us media types and everybody have all been saying, hey, that would be great if the Flyers could get somebody similar, or could be on that same level, close, whatever, whatever. So, but all right. So this guy sounds like he's of that ilk. Okay, what? That's Flyers don't have much. I mean, in fact, they have little to nothing really to spend for this guy. So what? It's real. I mean, is he like? Is he originally from like New Jersey or something? Or is he
no,
gonna take like the hometown discount or something?
well, a couple things here though. If we did trade for him, he has a year of eligibility still. Next season is his last, so we wouldn't have to be going out and trying to re-sign him after
So he
before
does
this
not
season
have an
starts.
expiring contract.
It's next season. He's told him a year ahead of time that he does not plan to. Um,
Okay,
so
so
it
he
would
would then have to
expire.
be protected.
Yes, he would have to be protected, but that would also give us that guy that is a top line defenseman who you would actually want to protect. I don't know about you, but at this point I don't really want to protect Sanheim or Myers. In my mind, they're still young, but I don't like the way they particularly play the game. But Seth Jones is getting paid $5.4 million, and that seems like a lot, but not for a top pairing defenseman when guys are making $7 to $8 million a year right now. Um,
But Provorov is not on that level. I mean, he's not making his contract is not that far. Is not. It's not even at 5 million year. 5 million a year.
Not yet, but yeah, he's still young. So with that, if we did acquire such a guy, you would have to pony up and possibly send Sanheim. It would be my pick. I know right hand shot for a right hand shot. Maybe Felipe Myers would name be thrown in there, but I kind of have more faith in him right now than Sanheim. And I think a first round pick would be asked of, but I would want to see the Flyers try to change that to a second round pick with a condition it would turn into possibly a first if he resigns with Philly, if
If
that
Seth
makes
Jones
sense.
does.
If Seth Jones resigns with Philadelphia after we acquire him, then it could turn into a first if he resigns. With that being said,
So you're saying, that Sanheim
and maybe a second.
and a second, conditional
Mhm.
second,
Right, conditional second that could change into a first would
if
be would be
Jones
what I would.
re-signs with. Okay.
Yep, would be what I would try to send their way. Um, with that being said, a couple of things that would interest this guy in possibly resigning is the fact that his dad, NBA former star Popeye Jones, is a current coach of the Philadelphia 76ers right now under Doc Rivers. He's an assistant coach here.
Hmm. See,
What
I knew there was a hometown connection there, man. Come
Right,
on.
right. So with that as well, he has a uh, love of cooking and all things culinary arts too. So Philadelphia's amazing city for the culinary arts. If you're a foodie like I am and like you are, sir, I would say that there's plenty of happening spots in and around
Let me
Philly
tell you
to be able to
something.
go.
Yeah, I make pilgrimages. That would be a good word, I would say, to
Mhm.
specific places just because they are foodie towns.
Yes.
And Philadelphia is one of them, right? And so you're exactly right. And that area right around in there, that little area, because and then not that far is the Inner Harbor, and there's quite a few little places right there in Inner Harbor that are really, not too shabby. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I'm with you on that for sure. And okay, what if we, what if it was, say, not a draft pick?
Hmm.
What if it was, say, maybe Nolan Patrick?
I think I wouldn't be opposed at all. I think Nolan Patrick, for his sake, needs to move on from Philadelphia, um, and I think that's what he's expressed interest in anyway. With his new hire of a
Yeah,
manager and stuff like that.
yeah.
So I think that he sees the writing on the wall, and he wants to go test the water somewhere else and see if he can turn his career around. And I'm okay with that. If they would have him, then great. But I'm thinking that if you're going to bring in a defenseman, I think you got to get rid of one
No,
because that's
still
just a
putting.
lot of money on
No,
the.
no, no, no. Still putting Sanheim and or Myers on the block too. But instead of the pick, you put Patrick on the block.
Well, you never know. When you get on the phone and you're having discussions as a general manager, you never know what the other person is going to want possibly from you or who they might have an eye on. So you got to sit down and have those discussions. You got to go through it. And when they say one person that you don't want to get rid of, okay, well, you like that kind of player. What about this one that's not on my list of
All right.
so high up guys?
Okay.
So
Well, we know that Seth. So I mean, we know that you know Seth Jones is an all-star player, so he's going to command that level of you know pick kind of status.
sure.
You know what I mean? And so we were talking about maybe if we threw Patrick in there along with some other guys instead of a pick. So I mean, either way you slice it, it's still, I think it might be a little bit too much for the Flyers. Do you think?
I don't think so. You gotta put into play the fact that the expansion draft's coming up. So who might they take as well is gonna allow the Flyers some extra cap space. Are they gonna take Shane Gostisbehere? Are they gonna take you know anybody with any kind of cap? Or are we gonna get another Pierre Bellemare where they take a fourth line player with nothing? It's hard to say, but I think we're going to lose somebody with a little bit more contract than we did before. Hopefully, it's a couple million off our books.
Okay. So you're saying that this move is not going to happen until at least after the expansion draft.
I don't think this move will happen necessarily until draft day. That's when most people want to see guys move.
Well, that's
It
only
can
two
happen.
days later, my man.
Right, right. And that's where that might happen. Um, so we'll see. We'll see who they take the Kraken, and we'll go from there. It could happen right now because both teams are out of the playoffs. They're allowed to trade, but I don't think it will. It's a no to trade while the
Yeah.
playoffs are going on, just to
Yeah.
not take away the spotlight of the playoffs. So
I mean, the reason why I'm asking you these questions is because of that very particular reason. Does that mean now that Columbus has to guard or has to protect this player? Because he's signed, even though he says he wants out, but he's signed. You know what I mean? So he's obviously not going to be protected. And the Kraken are going to be looking at this cat and be going, hey, man, $5.5 million. All right.
well, I think he will be protected. Even with him saying that, he's still a valuable trade asset. They know they can get something from him, and their GM is pretty good at giving something to get something back, or vice versa. So, um, maybe he makes a deal with the Kraken to take him ahead of time. There's a endless possibilities that could happen here. I think he's going to sit on it a while, and he will eventually come to a decision. Um, do I think he plays next season all the way through with Columbus? No. I think they try to get something for him while they still can, because in that case, then he could just wait till free agency, and they don't want to lose somebody for nothing. So,
Yeah. Look, honestly, though, Lance, we clearly do not possess a player like this on the team now. Okay.
yeah.
And with the little money that the team is going to have for cap space and the expansion draft coming up, and is this someone really that the team should really be? I mean, that's a lot of ifs piled on here.
It's a lot of ifs, but it's something that they have to do this offseason, I believe. Whether they go out and spend the money during free agency to acquire a top line pairing right hand shot defenseman, or whether they acquire one via trade, I think they're going to do it. They've been recently linked to Arizona. We know at the deadline, and Nashville has been in here multiple times to scout the Phantoms, and vice versa with their Admirals. So. Uh, Something's going to happen, and what Chuck does to get that next Matt Niskanen to somebody to play, top line minutes. It obviously was a big problem this season, and it's one that's got to be addressed. And again, like we said in previous shows, I don't think we're going to have to pay Carter Hart quite the amount that we were going to have to pay him if he had a season like he did in the playoffs last year.
Yeah, I'm with you on that, but then we also have to bring in a viable 30 game that guy that can win 25 of those 30 games,
Mhm.
second goalie that's going to command some decent money as well too. So that's going to be, even less money, plus you have to pay Carter Hart, you know what I mean?
Well, and again, if you trade Sanheim, you don't have to pay him that salary.
No, look,
So
I get it.
yeah,
I
so
get
that's
it.
that's money that would be opening because you have Cam York sitting right there that could step in, or Igor Zumla and
Okay,
play
so
that.
you want
So
you want you want those guys to come in and play right next year. You want them to play next year.
yes,
Cam York, really?
yes,
Zumala, I could see getting a shot, but Cam York already, really?
yes. Cam York is ready, and I think you're only hindering him and delaying him if he has to sit out. I mean, he has been playing against some. some more
You
than
don't think a
capable
year?
people at
You don't think a
Michigan.
year in the AHL would be a good thing for him?
Uh, uh, it would be great, but I don't think he needs a whole year. He's shown in games this year that he's ready. He's
All right.
shown games all year that he was ready in
Yeah.
Michigan, and at World Juniors he was an elite
Yeah.
player there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
I
I'm
think
not
he's
doubting.
ready.
I'm not doubting his skills and abilities, but I mean, you're ready to hang that much pressure on a kid like that early, that young.
Is Cole Caulfield, a player that was picked after him, who the Flyers were looking to get, is doing pretty darn well in Montreal, and he played the same kind of schedule
Okay.
this
Okay.
season
That's
at
great.
yeah,
That's
Wisconsin.
great. That's Cole Caulfield though. That's not Cam York. You see
That
what I
is.
mean though? I mean,
I,
I get it, and I see the comparisons. It's always going to be there, but I'm going based off of what I have and what I see in front of me. You know
sure.
what I mean? And look, there is no doubt that a player like Jones, a four-time All-Star, like you said, would vastly improve the Flyers without question. I mean, hands down, you put Seth Jones on the line there, back there with Provorov or anybody for that matter, and that instantly makes the Flyers better.
Hmm.
Okay. However, is this the player? I mean, I know he's still young and relatively, young, 26. Um,
Hmm.
is, but is he going to be this guy that come in and be that, you know, second part of Provorov and be that QB on the power play that Provorov cannot be?
I don't know if he'll justify the early ghost years of a playoff or on the power play, but he's going to solidify that top pairing defense wholeheartedly. Other people that are available, I don't think Dougie Hamilton is going to be available. Why would he leave an amazing team like Carolina,
That's true.
to come to the Flyers? Okay, I don't think that's going to happen. That's a pipe dream. Who else? Ryan Ellis's name has been out there. The guy's 5'9", 5'10". I don't want another undersized player, and he's old. He's older. He's like 30, 31. So there's the other options out there. The guys on Arizona that we've been linked to, Goligosk, all these guys, 33 years old. I don't want a guy like that. I want somebody that's established, but not in his glory days or living out his golden years and stuff in the league. That's
Okay,
not what we need.
well, you did mention a player from Barclay Goodrow from Tampa Bay. I mean, there was a couple players on Tampa Bay that you liked. There was a couple players on Florida that we liked that could potentially be guys that we could pluck. You know what I mean? So I mean,
Well,
I think
that's up front. Barclay Goodrow is a forward, so that's a whole different concept there, and players that could fill the bottom of the lineup. So
okay, but what I'm saying is that there's some other players out there that could potentially fill some of the holes here that Flyers need.
yeah, I like Yanni Hakapa for
Yeah. Oh
now
yeah.
Carolina, but I
Yeah.
think he's a bottom pairing defenseman, like he's playing for them.
And who's that?
Um,
Who's that fellow there from Nashville? That Matthias Ekholm.
Matthias Ekholm, I think, is um, glorified down there. I don't think he'll be a top pairing guy. I think he's on a good defensive core and plays with some good players down there. I think Nashville always has had a eye for talent on the defense, but I don't think he's that top pairing guy.
Okay. Okay. And there's clearly not that guy on the team on the Flyers roster right now. There's clearly not that guy.
No.
Not at all. All right. Okay. Well, there. I mean, geez, there you have it. I mean, you can't get any more. You can't get any more broken down than that, folks. Let me tell you. That's why Lance is the man. That's why he writes such great stuff, and that's why I love getting a chance to break these articles down with you, my man. So for sure on that. So we're gonna take a brief little time out here, and we're gonna have a word from our sponsor. We would like to thank K9 Country Club Resorts for being our sponsor. Really appreciate that. Can't wait to check them out on the web. at www.cccresorts.com. Also, check them out on Facebook. And also take into account that the pool is now open outdoors. So you can get your times and stuff scheduled out there. So check them out. We'll be right back after these messages.
Greetings. This is SteelFlyers from the SteelFlyers All Sports Network, and we have two very special guests. We are delighted to be joined by Tracy Musser and Nicole Howard from the Canine Country Club Resorts. Tracy and Nicole are both managers for CCC Resorts and work at the Windsor or at the club, one of two locations both in Manheim, Pennsylvania. Congratulations on your 30th year anniversary of being in business. Let me start off by saying this. Steel Flyer stands behind this company 100%. Taking care of Steel Flyer's furry friend for the last 2 years now, and they are a one-stop shop for everything your furry friend needs. In fact, let's find out what our friends at CCC Resorts offer. Nicole, how are you today?
Good. How are you?
Doing great, thank you. What are some of the great boarding services that you guys offer, and what do we have to do in order to get our furry friends taken care of when we are unable to travel with them?
Well, we like to bring everybody in for a tour first. That way they can see the behind the scenes, they can see where they stay, they can see where they play, and then we explain all of the fun things that we can add on to their reservation, whether it be one of our packages, either a nature walk, a ball time, or even a cuddle time.
Oh, wow, that sounds great. Boy, it sure sounds like a resort to me. So how are you today, Tracy?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Tracy, tell me, is it true that you guys have both an indoor and an outdoor pool at the Windsor location?
It is true. We've got one of each, so we're able to offer year-round swimming. The indoor pool is a great option for dogs who are swimming for therapy or rehab. It's got that sloped entry so they can wade into the water. Our outdoor pool is a little bit larger, and it's 4 foot deep the whole way across. And both of them are saltwater pools, so it's really easy on the dog's skin and coat.
Wow, that's very awesome. So then during the summer months, you have a much deeper pool outside and then a sloped entry shallow pool indoors for the dogs. Tracy, tell the folks how we can get some pool time.
Well, the first thing everyone does is come for an intro swim. We use that time to make sure the dog is comfortable in the water. We make sure they know how to get out of the pool safely, and we go over all the pool rules and etiquette with the clients as well. After that, they're able to schedule private appointments where they have the pool to themselves, or they can invite friends and have a whole group swim going on.
So after a dip in the pool, then it would have to be off to the groomers, right? I mean, our furry friends cannot go out looking their best. Nicole, what are some of the great services your top-notch groomers provide?
Our groomers, they specialize in full service grooms. We can do the basics, whether it be just a bath and a brush out or a blowout. Or for the extra pampered pooches, we can do nail dremels, we can do deodorizing soaks, and also facials.
Wow, man, that sounds like a resort if you ask me. Tracy, I know one of the main programs here at CCC Resorts is the WAGS program. The Steel Flyers dog is enrolled in this program. So why don't you tell the folks what is involved in this and how they can get enrolled?
Yeah, the WAGS program is our primary daycare option at the Windsor. It's designed to be a structured program for people who are looking for a set routine for their dog. They all come on the same days each week, which allows them to have set friends, and we know exactly what's going on with each group. So we do a little bit more activities, and we build more into their daily routine there. But we've got other daycare options as well for people looking for a little less commitment. We do an hourly care where you can drop them off and just pay by the hour. We also do a day stay option, which is great for the dogs that prefer human friends instead of making friends with other dogs. And then we have a traditional daycare option as well if you're looking for the occasional outing for your dog.
Wow, there you have it. A full service groomer, a daycare program, and an indoor and outdoor pool. What more could you ask for? Sure seems like CCC Resorts has everything covered. Remember, DOG, depend on God.
Thank you very much. We really appreciate that from our sponsors, cccresorts.com. Check them out on the web. Also, check them out on Facebook. Really appreciate all their support. We would also like to say, all right, this next article here, my man, this one here is still dripping. You released this one this morning, right? This article here is still smoking hot, if you want to call it that. Um, it's still the fingers are still a little bit, you know.
Carpal
Ooh,
tunnel, yeah.
yeah, still a little bit going on there. Ladies and gentlemen, this article is still dripping, and it was just posted today to flyersnittygritty.com. And my friend, you will not have any argument for me when it comes to this one. Finding a replacement for the Flyers' Alex Lyon next season. This is such a slam dunk move to me that even I could figure this one out. I
Hmm.
mean, the Flyers need to replace Lyon or Leon or however you want to say his name. I mean, can we please just move on from this guy already?
Yeah, I would say let's hope so. He is a free agent this offseason. He has spent 5 seasons as a professional within the Flyers organization. In that time, he's only played in 22 NHL games to date, but it has not been going that well for him on at least the NHL level. Um, Upwards of a 5 goals against average and a .806 save percentage one season. And during that time, even the average, like say that was a bad season, his average is still a 3.21 goals against average with the Flyers and a 893 save percentage in that time. That's putting into affect the couple of games this season where he looked okay. But I don't even put that into terms. A lot of people like this kid. He is one of the best, well-known, liked guys in the locker room. But that doesn't mean you're putting it out on the ice. I think again the AHL is to develop young talent, and he is 28 years old, folks. If he does not have it by now, after playing 5 seasons in the AHL and being in our organization, he's not ever going to have it. I don't think he's going to be, a career AHL player, and that's fine. But we need somebody that is going to progress and be able to step in, say if Hart or Elliott or whoever's going to take Elliott's spot is going to be able to fill in
Yeah,
when those
yeah,
players go down. Somebody's got to step up. And I don't think that now, either of the 3 guys that are signed, because the Flyers just signed Samuel Ersson
yeah,
today, Swedish goaltender.
yeah,
But they don't have anybody. Both Kirill Ustominko and Felix Sandstrom are not that guy next season for the Flyers that can step up to the NHL level and fill in. Both those guys need some more time, and it's definitely Sam will
yeah,
just coming over here. He needs to
yeah,
learn an NHL game. He's not going to be
yeah,
ready to do that.
yeah. And Ivan is signed for KHL again, so
Yes,
he's out of the picture as well too, which that's a real shame if you ask me.
for sure.
And look, so like I said, man, you're not gonna get any arguments from me. How soon? I mean, to me, that's two goalies that need to leave the books here for Philadelphia. I think Elliott needs to go, and I think Lyon needs to go as well too. And that's why the Flyers, like we've said before, need to bring in that number 1A or 1B goalie who,
Hmm.
look, you don't have to play 50, 60 games anymore. You can play 40 and be okay. And the other goalie can play 40. Hey, what? What's wrong with that?
Yeah.
And then you ride the hot guy who's playing the best. You ride him during the playoffs. I mean, that's just kind of how it's gone now. That's just the way it is now, where your second goalie has to be able to come in and play a significant number of games and be able to win those games. Like you were saying before, you can't just throw the second goalie out there against the bottom feeder teams. You got to be able to win those away games against those top seeded teams because you're playing back to backs.
Yes. Yeah, the schedule's a lot different nowadays. And you look at the teams in the playoffs that are still there, like Vegas, who have a great tandem there. Look at the Canadians, who are still in it, that have a great tandem there. Look at Carolina, who has a three-headed monster there in that. And these guys are the ones that have made it to the playoffs because on any given night, they can throw in either one of their goaltenders and do that.
And it doesn't
Now,
matter. Yeah.
it doesn't matter. Now, that's a position that Chuck Fletcher has said he's going to address. He is tired of um, the mayhem that's been in net over the years, and even alluded to it before he even got here. It's been going on for some time, and it needs to stop. There needs to be something
Mm-hmm.
done. So let's put the proof in, pudding there, Chuck, and get it done. Now, with that being said, this article isn't necessarily talking about that backup. This one is talking about that backup to the backup, which is a very
No, I
uh,
get you.
right, which is a very underappreciated role, because if we can take back to a couple of years, guys, we had a carousel of goaltenders in there when both of our guys got hurt, and Lyons was supposed to step in and be that guy, and he just wasn't. So they had to go out and they had to hit the free agent market. They had to go trade for a couple of guys to find somebody to be able to fill in the rest
Yeah.
of the season, because both our guys were hurt.
Hmm.
And that just can't happen again,
Yeah.
guys. Um, Lyon is not that guy, and it's okay. We need to move on from him, I think, and let him go play elsewhere. There's plenty of guys that, like we said before, are playing the AHL their whole career, and hey, I wish I could, and make a profession and make a living off of
Living.
playing
Yeah.
hockey. That's
Yeah.
great, but
Yeah.
that's just not what we need. I think
I'm
he
with you.
needs a new step out there, and
Yeah.
something to better himself.
All right. So now, put on the GM hat, right? So now you're Chuck, right?
Right.
And so, which goalie out there would you have your eye on? And perhaps one of them might be Jack LaFontaine. Yeah.
Yes. So, a good place to look in my mind is the collegiate level in the NCAA, just like Alex Lyon came from. But in my mind, I think the NCAA has gotten that much better since Lyon has come out.
Spencer Knight's come from there too.
Yes, yes, we'll talk about him in a second. But Jack LaFontaine is a Carolina Hurricane prospect. Okay, he played for Minnesota this year, and he did pretty darn well. Even to the point
Their
that
AHL team. He played for their AHL team.
no, he played Minnesota College, University of Minnesota.
Oh, oh, okay, okay. I'm
Both
sorry.
these guys, both these guys I'm going to talk about are coming from the NCAA right now.
Gotcha,
Uh,
gotcha.
Jack LaFontaine is a Carolina Hurricanes prospect, but he's unsigned, much like some of our guys are. That
Mm.
we just lost a prospect, and Roddy Ross this week. Because we didn't sign him. And this
Yeah.
is much of the same concern that is going to be happening to Jack LaFontaine if he's not signed. But Carolina has 10 goalies in their system right now.
Oh my gosh, 10.
10. 10. So
Well, it
the
seems
fact
like
that
they know what they're doing there in Carolina because man, if they got 10 goalies and Nedeljkovic is hitting like he is on all cylinders, all right. Jeez.
yeah, so that's the case there, and basically they're going to lose him for nothing if they don't sign him. The kid is 23 years old. He's a 2016 third round pick of the Hurricanes. Okay, but he had quite the year for Minnesota there. Okay, he is a Canadian-born kid. He was a Hobie Baker Award finalist this season,
Okay.
and he also won the Mike Richter Award, which
Wow.
is the best collegiate
Yeah,
goaltender
yeah.
this season. All right.
That's pretty I mean, Mike Richter, I mean, that's I mean,
Yeah,
if you're not familiar with that name.
for sure. For sure. So, like you were alluding to the Spencer Knight, let's just go over some numbers comparing LaFontaine to the great Spencer Knight. Um, shall we? Let's see. LaFontaine was ranked third in the nation this year in save percentage with a 934. Spencer Knight was ranked fifth in the CAA this year. All right. Jack was ranked fourth in the nation with an incredible 1.79 GAA this year, and Spencer Knight was ranked 15th. this year in college hockey.
How many games?
This season, I think they played about the same. LaFontaine played a lot of games. He was their guy. He was their go-to,
Yeah.
and that was pretty on par for comparable numbers there. I think they both played upwards of 20 to 30 some games
Yeah.
because of the shortened. It was shortened season a little bit.
Yeah. They only play what 56 games anyway,
Yeah, it's very
or
short
something like that anyway. So I mean, yeah, I'm with you on that. But still, though, to have you got to play at least 20 games.
for sure.
Yeah,
To be
you know.
compared, to be
Exactly.
compared.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean. All right.
Yep.
So now you mentioned another such potential goalie in Philip Lindbergh.
Hmm.
And, you know, we're obviously we're not talking about the guy that's going to be that 1B to come in. And why would Philip Lindbergh be one of those guys that be the top of the list here of one of the ones that we should be checking out or that Chuck should be giving a call to?
Sure. Okay. So Philip Lindbergh played for UMass this season, University of Massachusetts.
Yeah.
Okay. He is a Minnesota Wild prospect who is 22 years old. He is a 2019 seventh round pick of them.
Oh,
Okay.
wow.
And much like Carolina, they have their guy in net already in Minnesota.
Yeah.
All right. He is young, but you know they're set. They're set. They have goaltenders there. They always produce good goaltenders there, and he, this kid is unsigned as well. And I don't see why. Really, I don't see why. To me, he it was the one of the best, if not the best, goaltender in college hockey this season for the Minutemen. He won the NCAA championship. The team rode him
You
to
said he
that
was
this season.
2019 draft pick?
He was a 2019 draft pick.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right. Okay. Because there was how long was Chuck Fletcher there in Minnesota till?
He was not. He was not a pick
No.
of his. I don't believe. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was just trying to say. He was there till what 2018.
Yep. Yep.
Okay.
So this would be the first off season without Chuck there.
Okay. All right. Gotcha. All right.
So and on top of winning a national championship this year, he won a U20 World Juniors Championship for Finland back in the 18-19 season as well. This kid just knows how to win, and
Yeah.
he's a solid goaltender.
Yeah. That's why when you said UMass, that's what I was like, because they won
Frozen
the
Four.
Frozen Four this past year. Yeah. So I mean
Yes, they did. And
that was
it was
impressive.
based yeah, it was basically under this kid's watch for
Yeah.
sure. He's took over the net in UMass the past 3 seasons. Um, Comparing him to the great Spencer Knight, we can look at it, and Lindbergh ranked first in the nation in save percentage this year with a 949 save percentage compared to Knight's fifth place finish. He also finished first in the nation in the goals against average with an unbelievable 1.24 goals against average this year. All right. He only allowed 19 goals to be scored on him this season. 19.
Out of how many shots?
Oh, out of a bazillion. He was
Holy
their
mo!
he was their starter.
So like, how
Uh,
many games did he? He played what 30 some games?
I think he was in the 20s,
All
high
right.
20s. But
Wow.
yes, yeah, he was their go-to guy. He was their number one
That's
guy, and he
impressive.
has been for 3 seasons there.
That's
Um,
impressive.
in that as well, Lindbergh finished third in goalie win percentage, so he won 80% of his starts this season. 80,
Wow.
and
But you know now you have to admit though that the UMass team pretty stacked. They have a lot of prospects on that team that won the Frozen Four, so he had a pretty darn tootin' good team in front of him for sure. But still, though, when you have percentages and goals against numbers like that, that says a lot about the goalie itself, not necessarily about the team in front of you. I mean, it does, but you know the differential I think tells more the tale of the team in front of you than those particular numbers. That kind of tells more the story of the goalie.
Yeah, UMass was a good team this year, but when looking at his body of play, for all 3 seasons he's been there so far, he has a 1.58 GAA with a 936 save percentage. So they weren't the best team
Yeah.
over the past 2 seasons, but he was one of the best goaltenders in the nation still.
And that,
Um,
yeah, there you go. Okay.
so this is not just a
Yeah,
a player, a good guy playing on a great team. He's a great goaltender carrying a strong team
I'm with you.
for sure. So and the same thing as well. Minnesota has a ton of goalies down there, and Lindbergh is unsigned and just is under the threat of losing them eventually. And both of these guys, in my mind, could just be traded for very little, because they don't have the space for him, and could sign to play for the Phantoms next season.
Yeah. And they don't
And
even have to be protected because they haven't even played in the league long enough to even be on the list. So,
yes, they're not even playing in the league, so they would be under a rookie contract, which was not able to be stolen by Seattle. So that's good as well. But that's what we're looking at here, guys. Just different options that the Flyers could do this off season, and you gotta put on that GM hat and Chuck and just get something done. It has to be a year where you get creative and do something, because and not sit on your hands and just
yeah.
sign back the same players that we've had, and
Uh,
and put the same players back out on the ice saying,
don't
oh, it was
don't
just
do
an off
that.
season.
Don't do that. Frankly, I feel that anything would be an improvement over Lyon. But that's just my 2 cents. We both know that Elliott is pretty much out the door, and there needs to be a solid number two goalie going into next season. So, and Chuck has already come out and addressed that at the press conference, has come out and said that. And I I have to tell you, man, I do not get the warm and fuzzies with Lyon at all. We get the cold and scratchies from him. And frankly, if you want to know the truth, right? I don't really have. I'm not really getting warm and fuzzies with Fletcher running the show right now. You know, I've tried to keep a lot of my opinions about certain things in check, because I know it's been a difficult season. I know it's a tough job. I know it's demanding, and especially in the market in Philadelphia. I get it. I understand that. Okay, but I see cup winning assistant coaches as part of the team, and I see the team finishing at the bottom of the league in very key important statistics. Okay, and and frankly, that to me, the fact that nobody got fired over that, nobody got fired over that. No player lost their job. Like, there was no immediately this player's being waived or dumped or whatever. None of that happened. In fact, nothing has happened at all since the end of the season in Philadelphia, except the re-signing of that Swedish player, and losing Ivan to be re-signed with the KHL, and losing that Ross guy to because he wasn't re-signed either. That's kind of where I'm coming from, Lance. I mean, to be
Yeah,
honest
I
with you.
I hear you. And the departure of Scott Gordon was a head scratcher. I mean, he had the Phantoms first place in their division, and you let that guy walk. I don't see it. I think it might be for an opportunity in a NHL level coaching position, but
I hope so.
yeah, but you just let that kind of guy walk, who's taken your young talent and really showed them the way, and I don't know. I see a lot of a lot of ifs, and I want to see a lot of proven deals, inked deals, trades. I want to see a shakeup, a major shakeup this season, off season. So
Lance, I, I really, really, I'm really, really ready to have a much improved team next year. A much improved goaltending as well. I mean, please tell me that that this team's going to be okay, right? I mean, please tell me that Chuck and AV really are going to do all they can to do to win and be relevant, right? I mean, please tell me that those guys are doing those things, right?
let's hope so. There's a lot of excuses after this season was completed, and I don't want to hear them personally. I want to see a different team coming out there this next season. They need to rebound and rebound quick.
When I hear things like be an effing flyer, and then I don't see you be an effing flyer,
Yeah,
I have a hard time with that. I really have a hard time with that. And
yeah.
what really kind of was the straw that broke the camel's back was playoffs. Playoffs? Yeah, we're going to the playoffs. What?
Mm.
Really? Are we? I mean, do I have to break out the dude from the Colts? Playoffs? Right?
Yeah, yeah, I
You
think
don't say
AV.
that.
I think AV should have been piss tested after he said that for sure. Yeah, he was obviously on something. I don't know when he was still.
Maybe he still had a couple martinis in him
I think so.
when that was said. Maybe you
Yeah, I would
know
have been drinking throughout the season too if I was that head coach. I don't know, or filling out applications elsewhere because I was sure that somebody might get the axe for sure. So
when you finish 30th in the league and then what 28th in the league, like our power play and penalty kill was wretched, our goals against was
against
wretched,
yeah,
our overall
most
def
most goals scored against out of any team.
our special teams were not special,
Yeah,
right? They were ordinary teams. They weren't special, they were ordinary. So I mean, please tell me that Chuck and Avi got this right. I mean, please tell me that they do. I mean,
let's hope so.
you're
Let's hope so.
you're closer to the pulse of this than I am, so I hope so too. Well, listen, man. Let's say this. How about this? Congratulations on making Bleacher Reports, man, for the 29th week in a row. So that is the huge salute to FlyersNittyGritty.com and Jamie Bascow. Thank you very much, man. Really appreciate all the support, and couldn't do it without that help there. So really appreciate that. Bleacher Reports is something that helps drive things, and here's another good one here for you too. Over 18,000 hits to the website in less than a month's time. 18,000 hits to the website. Yeah, so thank you guys very much for that. Would also like to thank our sponsor, Canine Country Club Resorts. They take care of all your pets' needs, from daycare to spa treatments and even pool time. Check them out on the web at www.cccresorts.com. Also, we would like to make an announcement. We have a new sponsor. Yeah, how about that? Moving up in the world, got two sponsors now. Coco Counseling Center strives to provide explorative counseling that is expeditious in nature. We want to empower people, promoting self-awareness and self-efficiency instead of dependency on the therapeutic process. If you're looking for therapy that works, make an appointment at Coco Counseling Centers at www.cococounselingcenter.com. That's www.cococounselingcenter.com. You can check them out on the web, and you can even make your appointment right there online and check out all the great helpful tips and links that they have on the site to get everything taken care of. So check them out as well too. Lance, man, I tell you, we got a good one. Thank you very much. Appreciate it, my man. Where can we get you and where can we find you?
Sure, as always, guys, you can find all my stuff on flyersnittygritty.com or steelflyers.com. You can also follow me on Twitter at LNGBASSIST, the number's 39. And you can, as we just said, find my stuff on Bleacher Report as well.
Yeah, man, that's always good when you pull up the Giodi Bleacher Reports and oh, there's the article from Lance. Hey, what do you know? How about that?
Yeah, that
That's
doesn't get old for me. I appreciate
no,
all the
trust
views and all
me.
the everything, guys, all the reads. I definitely appreciate it. It's great to have all the feedback. I love it and love
Exactly.
talking Flyers hockey with the fans. So
Exactly. So we were also recognized too with the Whelp magazine. So we were listed. The Steel Flyers All Sports Network was listed in there as the top 20 Flyers podcasts for 2021. So thank you very much for Whelp for doing that, for checking that out. So appreciate that. And it's mostly, I think, has to do with the Hockey Writers Inc. Because mostly the Steel Flyers podcast shows does the Hockey Writers Inc. As a podcast. So I attribute a lot of that to this show. So thank you all very much for that. Really appreciate that. You can check me out on Twitter at SteelFlyers52. And you can also check me out on the web at www.steelflyers.com. You can also check out the Hockey Writers Inc. at www.steelflyers.com/link/Hockey Writers Inc. Got to check that out to catch all of our latest videos, all of our shows, and all of the specials. We've had Tommy Soderstrom on. We've had Jim Jackson on. So check those guys out. We've had great guests on. Check those out, and we'll be looking forward to seeing you the next time on the Hockey Writers Inc.
thanks, guys.